I want to get your thoughts on the other quarterbacks. Like, let's just go through the league. We kind of hit most of the guys, but Jayden de Laura, Jed Fish brought in a top 3 recruiting class in this league, top 20 in the country. Did well in the portal and brought in the best receiver in the league, and Tetairoa McMillan. Pretty impressive. Chance Nolan comes back. He'll be a 2+ year starter for Oregon State. And Jack Plummer comes in from Purdue for a team that probably runs the ball as well as anybody in the league at Oregon, or excuse me, at not runs the ball, plays as efficient as anybody in the league in Cal. I think with him throwing the ball downfield. So what do you think of that trio there? As I say, de Laura, Chance Nolan, Jack Plummer representing Arizona, the Beavs, and Cal and Justin Wilcox.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think de Laura's obviously a big step up for U of A, and what Jed Fish has done at U of A in a short period of time is extremely impressive. I mean, you think back to when he was hired, and a lot of people had a lot of question marks around why U of A went in that direction, and he's done nothing but bring that program. I mean, there's a newfound energy around U of A right now. He's recruiting the state, which schools have the in-state schools have struggled to do for a while in Arizona. The land Noah Fafita, T Mac, and Kean Burnett in the 2022 class. I think. I mean, that's 3 of the best players in that recruiting class. I mean, to get them to go to U of A was something that no one would have thought would happen a couple years ago. So I actually thought about possibly toasting to Jed Fish in the intro, but I passed and went to Bo Nix. So, but he's doing a great job at U of A and has that place feeling pretty good. But you mentioned, earlier, Cam Ward. I mean, transferring from with his head coach. His head coach Eric Morris from Incarnate Word is now the OC calling plays at Washington State. I mean, that's a big, the continuity there is huge. I think Cam Ward, I think you said Yogi, he's the second best transfer quarterback in the conference. I mean, if he plays up to 80% of the hype we've heard about him so far, I mean, they're going to have a great season and play better than and Jake Dickert's doing a good job. They've obviously been through a ton of turmoil last year. That was a mess of a season they had to deal with, but I think they have some stability now with Dickert, and I'm excited to see what Cam Ward does transferring up to the big leagues.
George, you're gonna love Cam Ward. Like, start your man crush already if you haven't already.
He's a beast.
You're gonna love off-platform, every phrase you can think of.
Wait,
pull it out.
you're saying I'm gonna love Cam Ward?
Yeah, if you don't already, you're gonna fall in love with him this year.
So for the people at home, we worked with Cam Ward as a 5th grader, 6th grader, 7th grader,
Wow.
8th grader, in our trips down to Texas. He always moved, acted, and operated older. He always did. And a lot of times, just a little inside baseball, when you do camps and clinics and things of that sort, you want to separate kids by age. You want your youngsters and middle schoolers have their own time and space so they can move and operate. Then you get your junior high guys and high school kids over here. Even then, you want to subset those groups just because they're going to move different. Cam was always a group up, always serious about his ball, always wanted to do the breakdown, always wanted the complicated feedback, not nice throw, which we're not going to give him that anyway, but I know I completed it, but how could I have done that more efficient? Coach, I see you looking at me. I know you want to say something. What is it? Like, he's always seeking feedback. There's traces and sprinkles of some El Presidente, Chase Griffin in him in terms of the aspiration. And for those of you looking at the screen, like Chase Griffin, look UCLA and then look United States presidential candidacy. What is it, 2042, I think, or 2030? Regardless, Chase Griffin is over there, but Cam Ward, serious about his craft, serious about his opportunity and his role. Yes, very familiar. Now, going into Incarnate Word as a young high schooler who
only offer.
Yeah, his only offer. And honestly, it was a travesty. Not a great big high school, played his heart out, all kind of talent. But you go through the whole COVID thing with all these youngsters and not getting a chance to go to camps and things, made the best of it, goes to Incarnate Word, what is it? What's the Heisman level there, Yogi? What's the trophy called?
Jerry Rice.
Yeah, the Jerry
Yeah.
Rice Award. Like, Adam, let's get real. It's not just go there and start as a freshman.
Yeah.
Go there and be the best player in all the land. And then boom, oh, portal. Oh, we can transfer. Oh, I can take all this and go someplace to somebody who's in need of what I do. Where do I sign for that? Like, loved it. Okay, so, and then he goes to Washington State. I can be a difference maker there, as opposed to go to UCLA, sit in this, golden trim room and wait behind all these guys, and hopefully one day my time will. No. This train is going out the station right now. Where? Washington State. So love that about him. De Laura, Arizona. Jedd Fisch. What'd you say, Yogi? Let me go back to my notes. I'm a student of all these guys I go on air with. 18 months to build a culture. Therefore, right about the end of this season, Arizona is going to start to round into shape. Jedd Fisch, for those of you at home, UCLA, Michigan, New England Patriots. He's a winner, and all he's been around is winning. That's it. It's not like he's been getting, kicked in the teeth and, kicked out of moving vans, and rolling on the street like you see them. No. He's been in real winning situations from some of the best coaches in the country who couldn't be more drastically different. Chip Kelly, Jim Harbaugh, Bill Belichick. Now he's got his first at-bat, which he really had to wait a long time to get that. It doesn't all come like a 36-year-old Dan Lanning. Now he's got that. Okay, de Laura. Plummer. I really love Plummer. He could not hang in that arms race, in that arms battle with Aiden O'Connell. Well, I'm sure the Big Ten guys tackled him. One of the best quarterbacks in the country. I'm sure he learned in that knife fight what it means to really come into that building. If anything, he's going to support. You have a veteran backing you up. And who's the last one, Yogi? We went Ward, we went de Laura, and who else?
Chance Nolan.
Nah, Nolan.
Oh, yeah.
Again, solid. I don't have a big. I've only seen him a couple of times. I don't have a big, cast about, what comes out ahead of him. But again, serious about ball, mechanically sound, is not and not a risk taker. He does not throw dice. So if you give those guys, all the support around him, I like what all those guys are going to do, especially what Fisch and Cam Ward are going to be able to kind of drive out from their respective positions.
Okay. All right. So we're coming up against it here. I want you to think about, and you have to be brief, the one player most excited to watch this fall that nobody's talking about. Okay. I want you to think about that. I'm going to give you a little commentary on those quarterbacks. And then you two are going to give your power rankings before we kick out of here, before they kick us out of here in this show here. We're talking all things Pac-12 football, Field of 12 After Dark, presented by BetRivers. With that said, Jayden de Laura, he's added 15 to 20 pounds. I think he's going to thrive. He's playing under center. He's playing with Jedd Fisch in this offense. I think he would have thrived at Washington State if he stayed there, and Cam Ward didn't. I think he's going to thrive at Arizona with Jedd Fisch. I think he's that type of dude. Tetero McMillan will be an all-conference player at some level by the end of the year, and I think he's going to be in every award race when we're talking about a 6'4", 215, eventually 220-pound wide receiver, and he'll have a chance to do very special things in Tucson within this offense and the young weapons that they have, and love what they've done in the portal. Can't wait to see Johnny Nansen, first-time coordinator, long-time coach, got a shot there. I'm jacked for them. They got a big stretch early on. They go to Dime City, that new stadium against San Diego State on CBS, national television, noon game. I think they get a win based on what I think San Diego State is going through right now. It's going to be really interesting to watch. Braxton Burmeister, a one-time Arizona commit, now the starting quarterback, San Diego State. Let the drama unfold from there. Keep it moving. Chance Nolan. I think Chance Nolan's really improved at the one thing he said his intentions on this offseason, deep ball accuracy. He really worked on it, cleaned up his mechanics, became an absolute nerd around that element. Brian Lindgren is one of the more valued coordinators quietly in the country. He turns down more jobs than all of us probably have combined, every year. Dude he's really special as a teacher. and as a game planner and a play caller. We've seen him do it now at multiple stops. I think he's got a chance to be a head coach in the future. I'm buying Chance Nolan perfecting the deep ball this year in a way that he didn't last year. Jack Plummer, this is the best offense. I think it's the best team Justin Wilcox has had. And we've seen Justin Wilcox knock off Oregon, beat SC, beat UW. I think it's the best team he had. This is a guy who turned down an opportunity to go back to the school where he played as the head coach. I think he is as lit up as he's ever been around this team and this program. Not a ton of depth on the O-line, but they have the second or third best defensive front in this league. Brett Johnson is the best interior defensive tackle in this league. They have the deepest linebacker room in this league. Who is their other corner opposite Lamagia Hearns? We'll find out. But their wideouts, best group of playmakers he's had, led by Maven Anderson. So excited about those quarterbacks we referenced. All right, briefly, George, you want to go first? Who is the player you're most looking forward to watching that isn't, donning the cover of all these preseason magazines?
He's not donning the cover, and he's not even a quarterback.
Wow.
He is an offensive
You don't
player.
do that.
I don't. But let me show some range. Let me show a little bit of range.
Yeah, go there.
The Oregon Ducks had last year, I thought, one of the most dynamic running backs who really in today's game playing in space. We see a lot of 3 and 4 wide sets. Who's going to take and kind of control the middle? Travis Dye. All of a sudden, like USC's like front office and their GM and everybody, they're on the horns. They're doing all the calls and everything. Found a situation. I was going to say found a number. Travis Dye. Travis Dye, I think he is going to be one of the most, because you're going to need somebody to offset all that aerial power SC. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to run the ball up by a score with 4 minutes left. You're going to have to get in some shootouts and be able to control the middle. And you're going to need a dynamic 3-down guy to go play. And then, of course, they reach up to Oregon, pull, I think, their best offensive player off the roster, tuck him in, all of a sudden. Here we go.
I think, I think Lincoln Riley would say he plucked them from the portal versus plucking them.
Okay. That's
okay, Adam, your turn here. I'm like the PC police here in the Pac-12.
I love it. Quick one real quick that we didn't talk about a lot. Tanner McKee, I think, is going to be the first round talent at quarterback, but he's kind of an easy one because he's a quarterback. So we're going to go to Arizona. We'll stay on the Jed Fish hype train. Jacob Cowing was one of the biggest signings from the transfer portal this offseason. I mean, from UTEP, we're a guy who just has been ultra productive, 150 some catches in his career. He's a bunch of touchdowns. Great kid from everything I've heard about him. That's a guy that a lot of schools wanted. I mean, he was a hotly contested portal guy, and to get him from UTEP was a big get for Arizona. I think he's going to have a monster season for U of A.
I think he was the hottest wide receiver prospect in the portal. 2-star prospect from the state of Arizona, coming back to the West Coast from UTEP. As you referenced.
Hey, can I make an addendum?
Well, go ahead.
I mean,
what do you got?
You're addressing that very nicely. A guy we haven't said much about. I think we maybe touched on his name. I'm not saying he's under pressure, but he certainly is under a microscope. Coming out of Jurassic Park, having experienced 2 seasons behind a Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback in Kyle Trask, then he got a chance to play battle, shaky a little bit. Then the wheels came off the program. Is Emory Jones. Now, we talk so much about the value of being battle tested. He's got a lot of experience, but I don't know how many battles he's been in. Now you're at Arizona State, replacing the shoes of Jayden Daniels, who went into the Jurassic Park. What is he going to do? Dual threat-ish. He's not really a take-off and go guy. For those of you at home who doesn't know Emory Jones, think about Teddy Bridgewater, maybe not as accurate, but that level of athlete, in my humble opinion. Now you're with the Sun Devils. Now you're at the front of the helm. This is the first time Emory Jones has had a chance to kind of step forward and be forced to galvanize people before the torch was passed. There is no torch passed here. You land, and that program is also trying to find some footing. They're trying to kind of recalibrate a little bit right now. Heavy charge, but if he steps into it and he leans into it, and like that Lupe Fiasco song, if you are what you say you are, this is going to be a great challenge for him. Not saying he's under tremendous pressure, because I don't think our expectations on the program are that much. But again, coming from where you came from, what you've experienced, and what you're going into, what is that going to look like by the time we get to Thanksgiving? Sorry, Yogi.
That's all right. Hey, you are one of the greatest communicators on planet Earth, George. So I will never stop you from communicating. With that said, I'm excited for him on a bunch of levels. Arizona State has lost some players, has added some players. Cam Johnson, one of those at wide receiver. I think he'll have a big year for them. And Herm Edwards is as good as there is at communicating to players and breathing confidence into them. I think that's exactly what's going to happen with Emory Jones. I think his stinger was taken away from what I was told for the previous regime at Florida, and I look forward to watching it. First game of the season, the Pac-12 next Thursday night. I'll be all over that coverage on the Pac-12 networks. My guy, I'm not going to say anybody we've already referenced